Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Valorant Challengers North America for Stage 3 playoff bracket. Yesterday it commenced, and already things have been heating up in a big way. Great way to be countering the snow outside, and cannot wait to get started with today. See what awaits us for our matches and our players. My name is Sierra Dawn. I'm your host, and joining me on the desk, as well as being your casters for today, we have Uber and Van Silly.
Yo, what's
Uber,
snow? You getting snow in LA, Uber?
No, dog, I'm big chilling. SoCal, a little grey. It's nice. It's a very comfortable 72.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like trying to agree with you, but I'm actually wearing a toque because we did have snow this morning, so I got the
But what you have to explain what that is for the Americans out there, Van Silly. This is you're bringing out the Canadian.
Yeah, I mean there are no Americans on this. Not right here. There's no Americans in this house. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Explain to me like I'm Australian, Van Stassi. What's that white powdery stuff all outside your house? And be honest.
There's only no. I'm not gonna go there.
Almost got him.
All right, hard pivot out of this conversation before Van Silly gets in trouble. We got some Valorant ahead of us today, guys. Stage 3, and I mean, Vans, yesterday was a crazy, silly day. We came out here to compete. The teams, they've changed. Expectations shattered. 2 teams eliminated already.
It's been crazy, actually, even going from group stages until now. Just so many upsets have been happening. I mean, if you look from group stages, we don't even have an Moistic Shopify going now into playoffs where we don't even have a TSM that just lost against Blue Otter yesterday. YFP, is also on the brink of elimination, already tossed in a lower bracket.
It's a bizarre time in Challengers, right? Obviously, we are
100%
capping the season with a bit more of a standalone tournament, right? It's not like part of our circuit, with stage 1 and stage 2 that we necessarily had. But we have a lot of teams that are, changing things up, looking at something new. That's TSM's excuse, but YFP don't have that to lean on. And they fell against this phenomenal roster of up-and-comers, rankers yesterday. And I know this because, my goodness, the chat did not give us a break, the fact that we didn't have that game on there. So we're going to make up for that today. We have no choice anyway, because it is the upper finals between them and Nightblood. So you're going to get what you want, chat.
Chat at the end will get what they want. But, I mean, talking about the fact that maybe stage 3 isn't quite as quote-unquote as serious, maybe stage 1 and stage 2, there's still a lot of money on the line. And for the teams, this rebuilding and everything, it is a good opportunity to be testing what is to come for next year. Talking about this matchup ahead of us, we're going to be focusing on that upper finals first, and that's going to be Nightblood Gaming going up against Rankers. And Nightblood Gaming, I mean, if you're talking about a team that maybe we don't know as much about, I got to talk to Fireball Ops yesterday, and this is a team that, they're looking at next year. They're looking at competing. So the run that they put together so far, Uber, that's definitely impressive. And Rankers, I mean, chat knows their name, and hopefully they'll be able to make sure everyone knows their name by the end of today. Yeah,
look, I mean, Nightblood have had to work really hard to get here in terms of just how close their games have been. That was a slugfest against Winthrop, but it didn't go to 3 maps. They managed to sort of close it out. Obviously, with Ascent being the last map of that series, could have gone either way, honestly. Rankers, on the other hand, I don't know, man. These guys are kind of wild. They go up against a team like YFP, and in the maps that they win, they absolutely spank them. Sunset is not even close. Split is even less close than that. These guys have, zero respect. They're playing hard. They're extremely mechanically gifted as individuals. They're an exciting roster to watch here. So I'm expecting fireworks in a game like this. And man, I don't know where they came from, but I bet you at the other end of this tournament, a lot more people are going to know who these guys are.
100%. When you're looking at these rosters and you saw, the introduction of Nightblood Gaming, I like for both of these rosters actually that there's still a veteran for the team. For one end, it's going to be Huyn, and on the other end, it's Inspire. 2 guys have been playing Valorant ever since it came out, and they're kind of like the leadership around all these newcomers, these young bloods that just started popping up on the radar for a lot of these, scouts that are potentially watching these events you were talking about here, Sierra, where potentially it's not as important as looking at stage 2 or stage 1 when you're trying to ascend into partnership, but this is a great opportunity for teams that, or players that haven't had a chance to scrim or show themselves to say, hey, I actually have a potential to look good in challenges for next year. Pick me up for X organization that wants to stick around for tier 2, and let me show you what I got so I could prove a point that I could even play on the VCT stage in Americas or even anywhere around the world in the following year.
And when we're looking at Nightblood Gaming, I mean, this roster is about 2 months old, with Alum and Kess being the final two pieces to really round out and mesh things together. And really, with how they were playing yesterday, I mean, is there always places to go up from there? Of course, but they played really cohesively, and Alum, especially on the Yoru, was having a fantastic time. I mean, Fireball had spoken to the caliber of player Uber, and I mean, the Yoru, especially on that second map, so impactful.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think Alan plays Yoru across both of the different maps. I think on Ascent, he definitely comes out very cleaner, but it's messy stuff. It's like, you know, he's like even in first kill, first death. He's very much like, you know, died in the wall initiator style player. There were a couple of occasions where he's able to get a ton of great value with the dimensional drifts. He actually, I feel like he virtually wins that Abyss map as like a really important, I think like round 23, where Nightblood have to win that round. He has that ultimate up at the time, and he does a great job opening the way over towards that B side here. Definitely a player to watch. Is more than happy to get his hands dirty. I think really solid, more than serviceable duelist.
Yeah, when you guys talk about him as a Euro player that, you know, he's played in the maps yesterday, but overall also switches around this agent you see behind him and behind his portrait as a Neon, and also doing a great job trying to create the space for the team. Nightblood Gaming overall, I think it's well put together, where you have like Sogo and Huynh that have like this experience from playing collegiate together with Fisher Navy, but overall you're bringing in new blood from Kess that almost comes out of nowhere, and then Alim is almost like the same situation as everybody else in terms of like, you know, popping up here in the top 10 or whatnot of the Radiant scene, and then they're giving them opportunities to show what he's got, and he's definitely proving a point that he is able to create that space. And as you say here, Uber, it sounds messy just because he still needs to find, you know, the experience of playing around like this tier 2 scene or playing against like organized teams, and see how he could actually perform, and if he's going to be able to perform higher the more matches that he plays.
And definitely an opportunity to prove himself that he can be playing at a higher caliber with the upper finals. You got to take it step by step in this upper finals. Yep. Great opportunity, especially going up against rankers, because maybe we haven't seen them on the main part of the broadcast yet, but the side streams, I mean, these players were popping off. Everyone was popping off about them, and we have to talk about Egster and Kainzera, because these two, from just like a stat point line, were just like right away. I can't even talk. I'm so shocked by the stats. Super, so shocked. But like right away, you're like, oh wait, this impact, like this is dynamic, and this is going to be explosive once we get into the games.
I mean, Egster, let's just be clear, absolute OTP Yoru player. Every map, we'll just play Yoru straight up. I mean, been very, very solid on that. Kainzera, obviously, the other duelist in this duelist duo, plays a ton of ISO and Neon when it's applicable. I just want to say, like, having like 280 ACS, you know, like average as well. I've looked over some of his stats. That is absurd. That is ridiculous. That's like fluorescent in game changes level nuts. So curious to see if that carries over, I think, into these matches here. We're going to see probably, you know, with this map pool, some more of those Neon maps. Alum as well, probably going to be playing more of the Neon than the Yoru. But again, these guys play double duelists. They're super disrespectful, hyper aggressive. I think they're going to be a ton of fun to watch, especially with these two at the helm. I mean, Kainzera also 16.9% first blood percentage, you know, over the course of a number of games is a pretty big deal. But I mean, the one player, it's funny, when we're not talking about Knights here, we will. Another one trick. The guy was 11-2 first kill, first death against YFP over the course of the series. Which is pretty insane.
It's insane. Every single one of these players are all ranked demons, which is literally why they're called rankers. Every single one of them has reached like number 1 at some point on the ladder, with exception of maybe I think it was Egster, because he actually had at the same time 3 accounts in the top 10 instead of like 1 account in number 1. So that's how crazy these kids are in terms of what they bring in terms of firepower. So when a lot of, you know, new fans that are unaware of rankers, yes, it's going to get explosive, but at the same time, you're just going to see some cracked aimers that, you know, are not afraid of not necessarily always pushing W against you. But if you watch their game versus YFP yesterday, they still look somewhat organized. So yes, you have Egster that's like a one-trick Yoru. You have Knights that's a one-trick Clove, where from time to time in a blue moon, he's going to play like a Rain on an Ascent. But if not, Kain is going to be your second main duelist. And then after all, it looks still composed, and then you're going to have to think on your toes every single time for any team that plays against them, because it's so unorthodox how they play.
I'm down for some composed chaos, that's for sure. So let's talk about the maps and head over to our map picks and bans for the series today. reminder, like yesterday, Nightblood Gaming had the fastest duo to get into the upper semis, and Rankers as well being able to pop off. So Abyss, we're not going to see the run back there, and it's going to be Nightblood Gaming take us to bind first, Vans. Okay, I love a good bind game.
I mean, this whole series overall is just going to be a repeat of the group stages where it went to those 3 maps, right? So this is going to be a super fun match to witness. Sorry, Uber?
Same order of maps as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it went so back and forth on that bind game. And that's just on Nightblood Gaming that looks like they're playing a composed Valorant. But then you have just these guys that are pushing through on second round and still able to eco against you because they are so deadly on sheriffs. So again, we expect it's going to be a brawl potentially here. And it's also Rankers mentality of like this. We don't care if we have to play against you the second time on the same series. We want to show that, you know, it doesn't matter how many times you or how many repeats you have against this, we're still going to own you like 13 fives on all these maps.
I will say, though, that not all these maps. Bind was a slugfest these last time these two played.
Yes.
Went to overtime.
Yes.
Kane Zero was on the Raze and actually had a quieter time. I think it's one of the few maps where Kane Zero will play that Raze. Alum on the Neon dropped 32 over the course of that game. 11-3, first kill, first death. So NBG are going to be relying, I think, on Alum again to have another pop-off game here.
Yeah, when I look back at the series too, not so much the bind considering how, you know, back and forth this was, but more so the next two where Nightblood Gaming didn't go quite their way. I kind of call back to yesterday, Uber, when we were talking about the really unfortunate 13-0'd against Nightblood Gaming in a different series, to then see an Abyss not too long later that was completely transformed. I mean, the team is still a little bit newer, so it's been a week. They've gotten some more games, so I'm kind of curious how, like, if they're allowing the same map pool to be going on through, kind of what adjustments are going to be made there to make sure they can try and get a different result.
Yeah, because the scary part, I think, for Nightblood Gaming fans is the last 2 maps in this series where they... look, Sunset, to be fair, Rankers spanked YFP on Sunset as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't, get the highest of hopes for that map, but we saw a pretty solid Ascent game, I think, from NBG in general. They play that Yoru Deadlock composition, which again is something they can definitely make a lot of use of. I don't think Rankers play that. They play like the double duelist clove setup on that map and just trying to run it down. So I think that's something NBG have to be super aware of. This is the team that really is very unique. They don't play like other teams here, but they have experience against them in a best of 3, and they're going to have to hope it carries them a long way here.
Yeah, and I cannot wait for this first map. I mean, talking about the agents and heading on over to the agent select with such recent tape here, Vans, I'd be surprised to see a change on this front of things, but I still think an agent selected a fun game on the horizon.
100%. I think if we're looking at this right now here, Uber, it doesn't look like there's going to be too many changes with the exception of Kane Zero switching out from a Raze to an ISO, which also works because that's kind of like the main thing that he's been playing most recently, especially against YFP, getting a lot of results with that. You don't really need for him to create that space anymore as a Raze when Exter could be the one that's going to TP across here and create that space for the team. So I think this is going to be the fun part where Kane Zero could actually just activate on his own, be self-sufficient. I think that's the other important thing about a team like this, where Kane Zero, if he's going to play a Raze or a Neon, but you're looking at the comp around him that doesn't have too many initiators that's there to support him to create that space or do his own thing, then it's mainly going to be utilized for Exter, for example, then he's going to be able to fight back.
All right, well, a little change. Love an ISO Euro combination. This one's going to be fun. First game of the upper finals. Let's see how this one's going to be shaking up. It's going to be fun. It's going to be chaotic. It's fine. I'll see you two on the other side.
Thank you, Sierra. Yeah, let's jump into this one, Van Silly. Rankers versus Nightblood Gaming. A very highly anticipated matchup here in the upper finals of our Challengers Stage 3 tournament. Remember, $25,000 up for grabs, 10K for first place. Plenty to play for here, but Rankers don't really need much of an excuse. The individuals that have 3 accounts in the top 10 in Radiant, so give them any incentive and they'll go for it.
100%, and they are going for it on the defensive side, already adding a little bit of that pressure on that B side. As I mentioned before, trying to leverage a little bit of that util from the sky to support Exter, but the big thing about this is that they're able to be very active around the map. If there's going to be some sort of pressure happening right away from NBG, then you can have fast EPs to support. And I'm loving this from NBG to go very, very slowly. They're already counting the timer. Look, as soon as that gate crash disappeared on that minimap, that's when they start activating. So you're keeping those players kind of like just anchored up, and Exter is pretty much on a one and done.
Oh, they can double face this. There's no Omen to one way and break up that two-player hold at the top of B long. And already some damage traded, Extra. Down to 53, but in the meantime, NBG have snuck 2 players into hookah. Extra definitely has a feeling about that now, getting a bit of a top up, but it's going to be Fireball Ops to strike first. This might get thrown up here by the Clove, but already NBG heading elsewhere with a Trailblazer looking to open up A.
But that's the thing. They're falling backward, potentially working towards the A side. There hasn't been any space taken by Nightblood Gaming on this short A side. There's a full setup of a Cypher right here with a double trip to just counter up on the wall. Left. So they realize that Win stays inside hookah, finds contact on Knights, calls to rotate back, but they haven't cleared Octagon, so they have to be ready on that hit.
They're going to go fast. Gravnat thrown down on the side. Poppin might be caught in a relay bolt, and they are. It's going to be easy for Win to pick them up. Obviously, Knights sitting back over towards Elbow, looking for a timing here. Maybe smoke up first, then push out. Already Kane0 solo comes out of spawn to try and take the fight. They find themselves one. Kess eventually shuts the Clove down, and it will be up to Inspire in a 1 versus 2. Extremely doable, especially for a player as experienced as Inspire is. That smoke's going to dissipate now, and Inspire needs to check below the window. Has a good feel for it, but Kess is able to get the drop on him.
And that's one of the scary things that we just mentioned before. You can have great moments for any team that's playing against rankers, where you're going to have one of these players that's going to catch you off guard. Knights played outside of the wall that was thrown by Fireball Ups and also hit within the smoke of Win. That dropped it towards the elbow. He finds the timing, he hears the footsteps, gets a double kill with a classic. And if that was actually a Sheriff, which is actually using on his second round, that was going to be 2 instant one-taps, because this guy doesn't miss that many times here on his eco round. So pay attention to how Rankers are going to play this so far, stacking up towards the B side, continuing to want to fight against here the B long control, where exactly we have started from Nightblood Gaming.
In the last matchup, Rankers rapidly hit a thrifty here in round 2 against Nightblood after they won the pistol. NBG this time really trying to make sure they have the hatches battened. Gravner here is going to catch Exter. Obviously, there's a gate crash that would allow him to get out of there, but he's more than happy where he is right now. There's no need to move. Out of the corner with a Bucky. Going to get a bit messy, but Alam is ready for it. Exter picked off. Now, though, flash in Poppin, not realizing that it didn't actually affect BT whatsoever. This is much cleaner this time from Nightblood.
That's where you're going to see, too, from Nightblood Gaming, what they've learned against the Rankers, what they've learned the last time that they played against a team like this in the group stages was how aggressive Rankers were against them, how they always caught them off guard. So now you're actually scaling into corners and actually doing tight clears, these wall bangs, like they're anticipating every single position so far of where Rankers could be, at least in this anti-eco. So it's looking very clean. Not a single one of them has gotten any damage so far, and even Knights is potentially looking to a moment where he's probably going to want to try to save the Sheriff because he invested a little bit into that, but or looking and expecting a lurk probably from Sogo, but he is definitely going to try to implicate some damage here, where on the other side though, NBG, they're just going to fall back here towards the spawn, towards their own spawn, which is a great read again. So playing it cautiously, giving a lot of respect to Rankers no matter what, but when it comes down to fight, they're doing a great job clearing all these angles. 5 Bulldogs in that round too.
Yeah, 5 Bulldogs, but everybody has full armor Van Tilly, so can by NBG, which obviously maybe makes this bonus a little bit less exciting. Now with the full buy of rank coming through, at least for the most part, a couple line armors in there, but it will be a quintet of Bulldogs for NBG.
Together, so you're gonna make those ring and probably play against a death ball of the anticipation. Sorry, of playing against all of these rifles that are Rankers. And for Rankers, for them, they're looking for a little bit more of that showers control at the very beginning. It hasn't really been contested yet by Nightblood Gaming. There's been a lot of that pressure towards, you know, hookah and long B, so it gives them an advantage to really get some aggressive space. Although it is going to be a solo hold by Kane0. It's not going to be like the Exer trying to TP away. He's playing more towards U-Haul, and here's the fast hit, though, from Nightblood Gaming towards B.
Oh yeah, they're deep on the side already, Van Tilly. Alan with the wraparound, Poppin flattened these Bulldogs, getting up close and personal, and Rankers have had not an opportunity to respond. Now, annoyingly, the retake becomes an issue. You're playing against the deadlock here as Rankers. You need to deal with this wall already set up over towards CT. Rankers are grouped up here and have a bit of util to work with, but they've got to go soon.
Over there.
Still making so much noise, though, for breaking this wall. And already, they already have cast all the way back towards the fountain, so they know there's nobody going to be flanking from that spot. They don't hear any TP, so yeah, that's the call for Rankers. A lot of time has been wasted, so they're just going to fall back and save their weapons. And again, this is another round where you're potentially surviving with, 4 Bulldogs, an upgraded rifle, but the only damage that's been taken is onto a limb that still has full HP. So the crazy part about this too is that they're having a great success in terms of first bloods. And this is what you mentioned before here, before we started this matchup, Uber, that they were going to rely a lot on a limb to try to get these entries. He went 9-2 on the attack side against Rankers in the group stages, going into the playoffs here, and getting a lot of success on the space that he creates on this Neon. You saw that perfectly from the wall up in the slide. So now for Rankers, they have to find ways to try to stop him, but you don't have a composition really. No breach, no real stalls with the exception of Inspire. So it's up to him and his experience to figure out where he could find those slows, where he could really stop a limb in his tracks. And he's going to guess here that it's going to be towards the B site, which unfortunately is going to be very wrong at the very beginning.
There's no upgrade of these Bulldogs. I mean, NBG able to get 2 rifles away from Rankers in that previous round. Yep, they are saving that money big time. Knights here under some degree of pressure. They're not going to be, oh my goodness. Yep, Adam with that beautiful accuracy coming out of the slide. And even with the double tap, Kane Zero got absolutely bowled over. This is brutal, Van Silly. Poppin stood out there, blocked off by a smoke. No chance of helping. Inspire is wondering where it all went wrong.
They're just out for blood literally this time around, out for revenge too. We mentioned it at the entrance of this game too, that, Rankers wanted to prove that it doesn't matter what maps they play, and if it's going to be a repeat, they're still going to be able to dominate NBG. But this is the 3rd entry in a row, at least, that I could count out from a limb on how he's finding this space, finding these openings to allow NBG to now get 4 rounds and a flawless act. A lot of them are going to be at 9,000. There's no answer so far for Rankers because they're just out-positioned every single time. And I think it's up to Rankers this time around to leverage the power of what Extra could have with his Euro TPs, because playing so reactively so far and relying on aim and crosshair placement has not been working out because NBG have been ready for it.
Yeah, and the economy, though, is just in such a weird place right now. The forcing that we've seen from Rankers here means that they're able to get some level of buy-in. We're going to have a Bucky for Poppin here, and the armor's a little bit haphazard. So 4 players grouped up here for NBG. Look like they want to top of B-Long. And obviously that Cypher util will be lying in wait.
With the camera too, playing it so that he could stay close to the wall when the Clove is going to drop their smokes and hoping to get some kills through there. So already hearing the dog and trying to find position out of there, but they don't have the best weapons here, Mitch. It's going to be easy here for NBG to at least brute force their way in and create that space.
The trips, though, haven't been revealed yet over on that side. Exit just going to fall. Soko able to deal with them pretty comfortably as he tried to come through the TP with God knows what level of support from the rest of Rankers. They're all very much spread around this B site. Poppin might look to set up here inside Hookah, but they are low as well. And NBG happy to take a pause here.
A pause pushes out Poppin on low HP. This could be very punished by Sogo.
1 down. Over there.
Yeah, almost too easy. Inspire gets on the board, though. Alan will be brought down. There's still these tripwires in the way. Oh, my goodness. Inspire for 3. Spot Twin on that corner. Looks to back away. The camera is still going to be set up, and it's still going to be a nuisance for the attackers. All of a sudden, NBG down to 2, and Knights now gets to the rescue. But Inspire exits the round with 4 kills. Got to get up early in the morning to get the better of the Cypher. Sat behind all that util.
That's a huge round for Inspire too, but unfortunately here for Nightblood Gaming, it's the 2nd time that Fireball Up throws up a wall, up for the deadlock, right towards the elbow, but we're playing right in front of it. Remember that piss around that Knights was able to find that 4th position, this time Inspire. And I don't know if it's going to be a missed time. I don't know if they've read it so far here for NBG, but they've been surprised twice at least. They might have to start using a little bit more utility, or at least start using sprays in there to make sure they're not going to get the same surprise, run into the same type of chaos right from the elbow again. But speaking of chaos, already with the finger blasters out, the stun in the front, and a fight against Knights.
Alan hit with the medal, so they need to take a pause here.
There.
So that early momentum essentially shut down. Nice job there for Knights, but they're going to be able to deal with Alan as they slide on him with that overdrive ready to go. Now the pick-me-up means that this Clove is definitely to be feared. Kess brought down as well. That's 2 for Knights. That Clove looking mighty scary over at the A side here. And plan B is to walk up Onto the B side. Inspire sees it all once again, set up here in elbow.
Cage trigger.
NBG pretty unsure if they want to go for this. A poison orb at least to allow them to cross if necessary, but a lot of time been bought here and the rest of the rankers are getting in position.
That was the thing. They put the poison orb and a snake bite on top of that so they could cross. So they're going to have an important fight towards U-Haul.
Never left.
I'm not expecting the second player there.
Last
Rather
player
Fireball
standing.
able to find the one, but that Clove ultimate gets her back on her feet, and this would end up being a flawless round here for rankers. When investing an operator, Knights didn't end up getting the kill after the fact, so they will eventually go
30
down.
seconds left.
Win is nothing to do here. Take this rifle away.
This is Together Were Terrific Days, aka Mummy cosplay here for a win, because I've actually seen him pull out the operator throughout the group stages as an Omen as well on different maps, and it makes sense if you're looking at the rest of this team, the rest of this composition at least. You don't want to give that operator for a limb
10
yet. You
seconds
want him
left.
to create that space so that whenever it comes to these post plant scenarios, Swin could stay far back, keeps that molly, plays the post plant, and also is able to watch the right angles. And we remember when on, you know, a Jet op, a Sova op, going toe to toe back in like 2021, 2020, the head to head between who's the better operator between Wardell and Win, right? So we're pulling it back the years here, seeing Win play again as a veteran under the Nightblood Gaming banner. But nonetheless, rankers were not afraid this time around to really punish the aggression that was coming out from NBG at the very beginning. The amount of vulnerables that are coming through. You talked about the metal from the Clove, but there was also, you know, a double take from both Knights and Kane Zero there, so they could throw even the debuff from ISO to really punish any players that's trying to swing out in that spot. And, you know, Elim found value out of that before, and he's going to try it again, so why not? A third time. If he gets punished for it right away, maybe they'll think of how they want to approach this differently on Showers.
Cypher Util over at the A side. This time around, a rank is already pushing up to take this space. Again, they know they need to get value out of these double duelist setup, and Fireball's going to be ready for it. That was Kane Zero taking a bit of a risk here to get that space. And NBG now realize they can go and re-clear over towards Hookah and have the option for B with the player advantage.
That's it. It'll have to come down to Kess for sure. You're going to need his util to try to clear it back in that area, or at least a buddy system to try to walk back towards Sand. Because right now, it's a huge question mark of where that pressure is coming from the defensive side. Fountain and Sands is not going to be hurt by NBG's position currently. Orb's been picked up. And Kez, if anything, maybe the biggest thing was maybe grab the ult so he could try to go for a move, but they're going to go for the buddy system instead and re-clear as a group. And potentially split towards this B site, which is a great read because Kess is there, or Poppin is there alone.
35 on the round here. Going to be a fast hit behind Alum over towards the B side. Pretty passive position held up here by Poppin. A bit of a one and done now. The fast lane getting thrown in. Okay, Annihilation even committed to this fight. They are pushing in very, very hard. Poppin was able to get out back over towards Halls here, so it will be rankers at least with the 4 players to go for a retake. Win set up with the operator, watching the flank angle. There won't be one here. Its rankers are going to have to flood from this backside.
Middle and Flash probably the biggest thing here for the retake.
Well, those Seekers are very telling. That should get Quindia turning around now, looking in this direction as well. All guns trade on rankers, but they still fight their way through with this cracked aim. Extra finds yet another one. Inside container, Kess is at least able to hold it down, but it's going to be Quinn in a 1v2 with the operator in hand, and Knights sees them coming. Just a little better, our rankers. With a 1-player deficit coming in for that retake with a bunch of duelists. They come out with a round.
You saw the idea too with Win playing outside of the close smoke, but unfortunately he's holding an operator, so the barrel of the gun is sticking out. Easy for Knights to spot it and get the pick through the smoke. But if not, he almost had that timing onto Inspire to play that 1v1. But we talked about the important pieces of utility for rankers that he could have used on the retake, but somehow after the Seekers, they overcommitted on swings without adding extra util and really just trying to fight against where Nightblood Gaming, where rankers were at, because the Seekers were shot immediately at the entrance of the door, so they thought they might be able to catch some players off guard and kind of catch the timing on rankers before they use the util to flood back within the site. But you're again playing against players that have really, really good aim, and they will stop you instantly in your tracks if you're going to try to fight them when they already have the crosshair placement against you. So they're noticing that right now for NBG. A good thing, at least out of this timeout, is I think you're going to be very happy and positive on how you're taking the B site. You're actually not getting surprised now by that push from the elbow just by using Sogo's utility with the snake bite and the poison orb there. You just got to clean it up a little bit more on how you want to play the post plan, because your holds are not the best yet.
That's a great point. It's the post plant where things are falling down here for NBG. And they're also doing a decent job at figuring out where the Cypher util is, so Alum can actually just run onto a site with Abandon. Otherwise, you saw it that previous round, right, where they sort of doubled back and Inspire got that 4K with the Bulldogs. They're very concerned about those trap wires.
Working the map, at least from the very beginning, from no big, I'm going to keep on saying no big deal probably at some point for NBG. But the way that they're working the map, at least under defaulting, is superb. They're manipulating it well. Extra doesn't have the best value out of his TPs, and they're really catching these players off. They're just now going into those moments once they actually go for the full exec. And now they've at least caught the Cypher util towards the A site. And the dog already came through to TP, but there's no real crunch. This might give a call here for Nightblood to start falling back a little bit more and start scaling back towards the B. So that responsibility, as you can see, now goes on to Sogo to try to solo clear the sands to make sure nobody else is pushing forward, but also trying to make sure that nobody else is going to be really flanking. So committing into, looks to be the showers hit after all, but there's still that second trip from Inspire that they never really saw at the beginning.
Just a footnote, Kane0 with an Odin ready to spray that corner down inside Lucas. So hitting that B site might be a tough one for NBG. And here they come. Middle going to be thrown down. Grabneck catches Knight, but Extra is also watching that line. Knight's going to back away here. And Extra deals with Alum, immediately stopped in his tracks, but ends up being a 2-for-2 trade. Still the Cypher utilities here on this side. And here comes Inspire emerging there from Lights to take one. And we're in a 2 versus 2. Poppin gets a good flash, but Sogo able to recover.
30 seconds left.
As Kess couldn't shrug it off, but had backup from the teammates. Going to be up to Kane0 with the Odin against this Viper's pit now. Still, we don't have a plant.
It's still got a debuff and a bit of a chip damage with the Odin too, and still has full kit for the rest. This is going to be dangerous.
And that's what they had to do. I don't think that NBG could have risked just trying to stay inside the pit and plant fans. I feel like they would have been sprayed down eventually.
It would have been papier-mâché pretty much on that triple, that trip box. Another vulnerability, and then spamming with the Odin. Definitely, I think you called it perfectly here, Uber, that they had no choice but to dance out and making sure that they could break crosshair placement. That's why you're jumping out of the smoke for the first guy. So that at least here, Kane0, you have some sort of a fraction of a second to be able to react here on that trade to make sure that you're going to win that trade in the round for Nightblood Gaming. So very, very nicely done. But overall, it's still Inspire continuing some great utility that stalls Nightblood Gaming's original hits. We talked about the level of success that Elim has been having on entries. It's been cooled down since those that timeout came out.
But again, if NBG sniff out that this is the weak site, yeah, it's pretty hard. Relay Bolt there, no catch off that. Alum still wants to come forward. They don't know it's still about the Cypher util here, unless Kess has revealed some of it, but both those trips are active still over at A. All about the info gathering here. Rank is also trying to adapt to this quickly, right? Already got 2 more players over at the B side now. Much more heavily fortified than it was earlier.
Yeah.
Double tap. Kane0 going to be able to, refresh that. Alum has to get double guns pointed over towards that ISO. Now try and get away as Poppin wants to try and hunt this down. Now Neon's too far.
Big fight here towards short. Inspire wins that one. If Kess got that was space gained. Now it's just going to be individual fights, but everybody's so spread off across the map now. Thankfully, Elim is playing Neon, so he could meet up with Win as soon as possible. But it seems that the mid-round call is just to hoping to see if Win could sort of get this fight win against Inspire and U-Haul.
And this trapwire placement means Inspire can just watch showers entirely. Honestly, the Cypher util has been unreal. That one-way cage on top of the TP, disgusting. Inspire. Inside the cage, there was an opportunity there. Would have required a quick correction of aim, but still, Quinn now in a 1 versus 2. No time, has to go for the plant here. Does have a shorty to play inside of it with. Also, to deny a defuse potentially. Has that orbital strike. And he's going to go for it. Knight's going to be set up in bench. Moon might be able to get himself 2 1v1s here, but Knight doesn't want to take the fight entirely. He buys enough time for Extra to wrap. And Rankers get their 4th on the board.
Quinn was trying to do everything that he could to stay within the smoke and hoping that the dimensional drift was going to expire from Exter. And at the very last second, just as soon as his smoke is about to dissipate, he gets spotted and pretty much cornered between both players. I thought maybe he wanted to escape because after that plan, he did have an orbital strike, but it was also a great opportunity that he had to isolate one of those two players, because that was a close 1v1 that he had towards the end at Pipes. And that shot maybe could have been the winning moment here if he could go for the 180 right after. Almost wins it against Knights. Knights finds that cover and a great backstab in the end there from Exter. So as we mentioned, it was going to be a brawl from both sides. It was looking to be very one-sided though, as we talk about it. We're going to hold that thought. Seems there's going to be a little bit of aggression here towards short for a double push from Knights and also Kane0.
Oh. Did the Trailblazer just double back there? Knights was briefly stunned by it. Okay. Did get caught out, but no action here from NBG. Again, they play the start of these rounds pretty slowly. Only 2 players over at the A site for the time being. Knights are always asking for more. This is dangerous. He's pushing out. Doesn't have anyone to play off him here. He gets 1. Can he get more than that? Unreal. 2 for 1. Kane0 able to get involved to some degree. Backing up here over towards the side. And I'm not sure what to make of that. I do not know what I just witnessed.
Me neither. Some issues or something. We're just maybe going to try to call a tech pause. But yeah, I see some lines being pulled out here and there. Maybe. We'll see. At least for now, we'll continue with the action. Though Lim is able to drop a couple of players. Sorry, has the finger blaster ready and could potentially even go for the plant here. Oh no, he's going to run straight into Exter.
Official wording on that overdrive there. Nice to hear. Exter. Okay, going to be pulling the plug there after seeing Alum. Alum obviously going to be revealed constantly in this 1 versus 2. And ends up making the right choice, heading over towards this A site. Recently vacated, of course, by Exter. 23 health and a dream in a 1v2. Oh my goodness, that's dirty. Alum on track for an ace here, but God, it's going to be a tough one. Nice out. And Exter puts it to bed. Odd round. Don't know what happened there in that interaction with Quinn. Definitely, yeah, sounds like we might be rolling back the round due to some tech issues.
As I mentioned before, rolling back the rounds and rolling back the years, right, to see Quinn again with an off on the Brimstone. So we'll scratch that out. I was questioning myself too, scratching my head as well, because they had a great stop and go opportunity to play against ranked in that round, and then suddenly somebody just went for a spray and be like, hey, we're still here. So that kind of unfortunately just kind of put a stick into the wheels here on the plans for Nightblood Gaming to try to hit on their lower buy into the A site. And that's going to be the question coming back from the tech pause. Do you want to try to go for that same type of play again here to fight back in the same style, because you identified already at the very beginning there was already Kane0 and Knights trying to fight and aggress through the Viper wall. So that's one thing. And then the other thing too is they're holding it semi-slowly to make sure that the TP could expire so that Exter cannot get the full support over towards the A site. So again, a great opportunity here for Nightblood Gaming to maybe read into that round and see how they want to call the next.
Yeah, the Clove play up A short has been pretty impressive here from Knights. Understanding, of course, that, you know, feeling like a little bit of a rainer, popping that pick me up as soon as you find that first kill and trying to go 1 for 2. In that case, you've done very, very well. That's exactly how the that first round played out, or that previous round, excuse me. It's it's kind of wild. I really wish we could we could have known exactly what was going on there between Quinn earlier on, but I actually don't know also what the issue was.
Yeah,
we don't know what the technical problem was, but we rolled it back, folks.
If anything, we're
round 10 once more.
If anything, we're good. We continue. We're on round number 10. Everything gets reset. Quinn also still has his orbital strike going into this round, so potentially that's why you had a lot of this crunch coming in from Nightblood Gaming, and his dog came out. So they are going into the exact same play for the attack side, getting value out of the dog. See if they could spot somebody. Maybe orbital strike behind that. Stimmy everybody across. And now they realize that U-Haul is open. They could maybe section out here the right side of the site with the Brimstone utility.
Kane0 has an outlaw this time, knowing that NBG came to the round with very limited armor. Fiberlops glass cannon rifle play. Fires about to get busy. That's a huge kill for Alum, and an upgraded weaponry as well. Still, it's a matter of getting the plant down. Kane0 speculating through that smoke, trying to find something, and Knights again gets involved once more. Bit of pick me up action now. Kane0 going to push on in, at least get a weapon for his trouble. Bucky, as it may be, aware of course that there's some neutral that he has to be concerned about, but another double tap. Refresh is going to be popping coming forward. Wild play with the Odin. And down to Kess with nothing but a Sheriff. Able to break the shield and then Kane's Spirit, but Knights is crouched down around this corner. Kess can't afford just to slide in on this. Only 9 points of health. Better off trying to go for a plant.
Even back towards short, he's gaming it. So far, both players are rotating back. So he's going to have the advantage to
30
go for the
seconds
plant.
left.
And maybe even use Seekers right after to see where those two players will rotate back from if you want to try. Although, you are playing against Knights that has the not done yet. Don't think you want to invest that in a 1v2. So you're going to have to rely on the aim, but he doesn't have too many bullets left in the chamber either.
Planted.
Oh, Nice doesn't really have a choice. He just doesn't want to die then.
One
Down the
enemy
fight
remaining.
here. Well, okay.
Left.
Not dead yet. Got to be activated here. Clove back in the game. Kess trying to avoid Knight
One enemy
at any
remaining.
cost. And brings him down a second time. And Extra's going to be there. A virtual extra player up that round for Rankers. And they are going to take this round to even up the map.
That was even smart too for Rankers, and that's the other thing, the heads-up play that comes out from these kids. It's not only about the cracked aim and
Pick
just be
something
able
nice
to
to kill
adapt
them
on
with.
time. So it doesn't really matter here if you can't really hunt for the kill. Great job for whoever planted to just hide around the corner and really play that 1 versus 2 to his favor. But then when you have the Clove under the ult, just trying to tap it to get at least at a half before Kess tries to re-swing out. And Kess forced to fight that and gets instantly traded there by Exer towards the end. So I just love how that was played on that 2v1. But a great round that went from a thrifty pretty much from Nightblood Gaming, and they salvaged all of their ultimates moving into this gun round.
Yeah, it means Poppins working with the Guardian here. Rankers, though, in a decent economic spot, especially if they start to find some success in this round. Kill contract up for Kane Zero as well. The Rankers both have ways of forcing 5v4s and through the Clove ultimate having a virtual extra player. Kane Zero not able to really turn that flash, but not too bothered here. They come though. Knights again on the board already. Wanting to push into a Halls now. Corner started grab net, but Poppins does what needs to be done. Beautiful double though from Fireball. Ops now evens up the numbers, but the spike
One
goes in an
enemy
awkward spot.
remaining.
It'll need to be recovered, and Inspire is getting busy.
remaining.
Got Kess out trying to go for a heal by the looks of things, and now Inspire's going to see everything he needs to. There it is. Oh, okay. I thought it would be that easy. Fireball Ops. How do you turn that? 19 health. NBG
Last round in the
just
half.
sneak out of that round.
That's because they're still playing patch 9.09 here, Mitch. That's the only reason why. If not, that Phantom should have been an instant laser beam to get that backstab. Somehow shooting through the box, and it's enough to mitigate some of that damage for Fireball Ups to get that swing from behind. And that's a great way for him to close out that round at least, because I think he threw a grab net that caught one of his teammates. So at least he avenged him on that 2K, wins that 1v1. They still have great ults moving into round number 12. A broken economy for Rankers, and they could definitely tempo up now. Going with the same conditioning on putting the wall up, dogging here towards U-Haul, keeping players engaged on the defensive side on the A side, and you're full popping with all of this util, all of these ults towards B side. The thing is, though, is you already have a double push coming out from Showers, so they have to move up quick, but the read is already there from Rankers.
Overdrive here, going to be top for Alum, and they are going to waste no time in getting in here. Again, there is the issue of the Cypher util. That's another deadlock net. We'll digress. Alum just going to ignore that. Getting in the back of the site, though, deals with Knights pretty comfortably. That opens up the C side entirely, but Kane Zero still fighting against Fireball. Ops, who's had a fantastic couple of rounds. Bobbin gets on the ball with the Guardian now, and a flash would get Alum into CT if they were that far, but with the player advantage here. The spike going down, they're more than happy to sit. And that's it. Cleaned up top in there in that 1 versus 3. Nicely done by NBG. Also navigating a lot of that Cypher util on that fast hit.
Switching sides.
And also very crazy that it was a fast hit, but the plant didn't happen until like maybe even 20 seconds after they got into the site. So, and anticipating the re-push and the re-clear from Rankers, they just wanted to fight back and just set up those perfect trades on their side to guarantee here the round, especially with the ults that they had. They made sure where their positions were going to be. The flankers, they already anticipate. I think two of the Seekers went into the B site, and potentially even one went behind them, which is why you had some players still hold behind enemy lines. Fireballers was still playing on that window hookah, watching back towards the flank, winning that flank coming from behind. And it's a great ending at least. But at least for Rankers, they were able to fight back and get 12 rounds where this looked like it was going to be very one-sided at the very beginning. But we're going to have a one-sided push. 4 players lined up for NBG to just look down on a single jump spot.
They're pulling off that line now. I think with the Trailblazer coming in, they might be set up exactly for the Showers push. Sogo, though, is all they need to deal with it. Great flash and follow up here as Extra is flattened. Now NBG have cover of much of the map that was inspired, losing out a 1 versus 1 to Fireball Ops. Leaves Poppin and Knights with it all to do. They are pretty distributed across the map, and there is a barrier in the way of Knights. And there is very little for them to do here.
Such a good anchor play from Fireball Ups. A lot of trust given to Fireball Ups as well to solo anchor the B side. Great utility stall. He could focus towards long. Everybody else could just have that quad line. As you've mentioned, that dog that broke the line. There's still 2 players, 3 players that's watching towards short, but a great readjustment from Sogo saying, so good. I'm going to pop that first person, pick it out of showers, and then you saw the rest of that round happen through. So just good reads, good heads-up play, and just anticipating where their opponents are coming from and capitalize on the round, at least for now.
Not ready
That's
yet.
NBG now being cut down to 4, but they are grouped up as 3 going into hookah. Sogo, of course, over towards
Last
spawn,
player
can
standing.
start to make the way over. Should be a quick overwhelm here on Knights. They're still able to come out with 2 kills. That is freakish aim from the youngster, but it'll still be a pistol for NBG.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yes, we've given a lot of credit to Xer and to King Zero, who always plays a double duelist for this team and is able to grab that synergy and work together and making sure that rankers are able to defeat their opponents. But Knight so far, for me, has been an unsung hero and somebody that really, you know, popped on my radar ever since following 2 of these players that play in the SOAR event for those who dare. This guy is so good. He's so cracked on aim, but the only thing is that he plays 99.8% of his maps on Clove, and then the 0.2% is the once in a blue moon he'll turn into a werewolf or something, and it's in the form of a Reyna. And still is great rate on that agent, right? So keep an eye on Knights, and if he's able to develop his character pool, then he's going to be somebody that you definitely want in your team.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme. 2 agents that really love to fight all the time.
Give him a duelist role.
Rankers virtually have 3 on the battlefield right now. And that's to say nothing of Inspire being an absolute brick wall when needed. However, they are down by 3 rounds and lost the pistol hitter NBG, who are set up with 3 players here over on this A site. They're about to get awful busy. Okay, there it is. Double tap is enough for Kane Zero to actually win out against Sogo. It ends up being a 1-for-1. Tries to go for the undercut, but Alum sidesteps that. Kane Zero is going to back away for now. But meanwhile, Rankers are controlling this U-Haul area. Now they're going to try and take the fight. Alum gets a lot of value out of the Guardian at least, and it's a 2 versus 3. With Fireball Ups playing right on back. It's up to Keski to be the difference maker, and Kane Zero hears them rounding the corner. It's an easy pick-off. Poppin doesn't have to do a whole lot here except hold it down, stop a defuse. Oh god, the timing.
1 enemy remaining.
Oh, Kane Zero, that is dirty. Undercut not connecting Quinn, but he doesn't know where to look right now. Poppin's crept up behind that sky smoke. He gives it a tickle now, but the Trailblazer's going to confirm this. Quinn able to take down Kane Zero at the very least, but Poppin could just do this as he pleases, straight on into the smoke and secure the thrifty round here for Rankers. Last time these 2 played, they did it in the first half, now in the second. Either way, all good FNS.
You're also rolling back the years on these memes as well in Valorant. That said, though, I feel that there was a little bit of a miscomm happening for Nightblood Gaming within that round. Great entries, great fights coming through, but after that, Poppin gets that kill, right? Onto a limb. But where was the communication that, hey, that player is probably still in U-Haul? So when your teammate's already rotating back on Cash, thunderfooting back, and losing the fight all the way back towards T-Spawn against Kane, there's an opportunity for those last 2 players to isolate that one single Poppin with a classic inside U-Haul and just making sure that you stay on a 2v1 every single time. They pay the price.
That's a big risk for Case. Feeling obviously that was an uncontested order. They move out and get taken down as a result. Quinn sat on the corner. They're able to find one with a frenzy. The Rankers are far from done. They know they've got an inherent advantage in this round. Poppin.
1 enemy remaining.
Selling guides, clicking heads. Able to find 2 kills over on this B side. It's up to Sogo with a shorty. 3 Rankers waiting for him to come. This guy is not climbing the Tower of God this round.
Yeah, if anything, just try to dodge a spike is probably the best thing. If you can't find an opponent in his range of the shorty, he's probably going to try to jiggle and bait it out. But again, this is just a simple eco. Okay. Sheriff picked up, makes some noise, and now he's going to make a lot of noise because he knows he's playing against Rankers. They're going to try to chase him down, and they do. And unfortunately, it's Poppin, and he has Seekers for the next round.
All right, well, we are on track for a very scrappy bind once again. Scary sign for Nightblood, given that the map pool definitely feels like it favors Rankers with Sunset and Ascent, at least the way that it went last time around. Just that, I mean, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but the attack rounds for Rankers on Ascent were absolutely ridiculous. At least 9 of those, I think, so that's something that NBG have to have in the back of their minds here. Coming into this round, we have another kill contract for Kane Zero. I don't even know if we really saw it. In the
No, it was maybe called once. There was one fight there where we saw Kes come out of it, but gets instantly traded out. So they don't really need to use it really in terms of the biggest value of the kill contract, because they're just in front of all these fights.
It's you and me.
This time Alan was ready for that. There will be a kill contract here, though. Double Tap's got to be active for the time being. Kes doing his best, and Alan has the throw down. He wins the fight. And now it's only 2 players left for Rankers to work with, but as Alan pops out of that kill contract, he's a sitting duck for Poppin to pick up. And the Seekers get back into CT. Confirmation for Rankers that both of their opponents are sat there. Poppin is more than happy to take the fight. Sogo gets crunched. I like the timing here for Fireball Ops. Try to get ahead of this a little bit. I don't know where Poppin is, but Inspire takes a very timely peek himself, and the game is even now.
And Fireballas thought that he had the extra timing to hide from the camera closing, and Inspire plays the mind game, pops it back up, and now he feels that he has to make a move, runs out, even makes the call here for Inspire to pop in to get out of his dog so they could win that and guarantee the 2v1. So just great communication overall too. Rankers, for me, it's not just a bunch of guys that are able to hold W and click heads. There is a lot of sort of organized play when it comes into these hectic moments to make sure that they're able to get the best value of their attack sides. I mean, this is still 3 unanswered rounds since the Thrifty that they won. Or was it a force buy even that they had on the second round that they won against Nightblood Gaming? That said, though, it's seems to be a very similar storyline from the first half, where the attacking side's really running away with it until you finally see like the old cycles come back on the defensive side. The economy is starting to look better here on the defensive side as well to make this a close game, but nonetheless, this is still a clean slate in round number 17.
Overdrive available here for Alan. There's also an orbital strike for Huynh. Yeah, neither team playing Gecko, so we're not really close to it's become pretty typical on this map. Rankers would be more than happy if the round was over before there was a chance to fight. Double Tap gets broken there by the snake bite. Nicely done. That's a little bit annoying for the ISO. We'll have to bide his time, but Rankers are definitely ready to push out of showers here. And it's an NBG playing right at the back of the site.
Thought it was going to look really good when Fireballas was moving towards B because he could get the net, try to get a grab well and, or should I say a net and an orbital strike.
I don't know, Vans. Alan playing pretty disrespectfully these last 2 rounds.
Yeah, a little bit of
out last time, obviously on B long, but questionable. Now Rankers are well and truly in the side. Kes is an issue with a judge, obviously inside U-Hall. They're about to be wrapped on here. Flanked exit though, didn't need the help. Will be healed right on up, and it is only 3 left. No rifles to speak of here for NBG. Kane Zero says, this is where I'm going to shine. I'm more than happy to throw down here. Now it's up to Huynh with the Bucky, who needs to move into a suboptimal range to see his foes.
That also activates the dimensional drift for the next round after that kill from Megster. So again, I thought it was such a good play to start seeing Fireball Ups move over towards the A site, where you saw Huynh was kind of posted up towards the TP. I thought there was going to be an opportunity for him to throw a grab net, and then somehow Huynh goes through the TP and then gets in range of an orbital strike to catch some players on the way, and they can crunch through with that finger blaster to limb head. But it just feels like they second guessed the stop and go that Rankers had on the previous round, and then Fireball Ups went back towards the B site. They weaken up A. The overheat you saw here from a limb just didn't even get a chance for Nightblood Gaming to get the best value out of leveraging their ultimates around some sort of a half buy that potentially could have been very fruitful. But now you have the dimensional drift on the attack side. You have Knights that could also run it down, get so much information for the team too, and it's going to get potentially very chaotic within this round, because you know for a fact that these guys on the defensive side will definitely want to use their ults to react and fight back and push Rankers away.
Honestly, I think NBG just weren't ready for the timing of Rankers. They slowed it down massively.
Yeah, to stop and go, yeah.
And that's why Alan is sat there with Overdrive, like, are you going to peek or am I just going to run around? And then Alan gets shot in the head. So I kind of like that for Rankers, showing us a little bit more depth than just press W, go kill style.
Yeah.
Even though that's something that they're comfortable with here. So 4 rounds in a row. Now getting into the lead, Van Sussy. We've got an annihilation here for Fireball Ops to work with, but Knights obviously is going to get a second bite at the apple this round, and they've had a great time this map.
Who's next?
Is this duo name now called Uber Sussy?
Yeah, I'm here for it, bro.
At least the dimensional drift starts opening things up, and he's going to spawn so many players back here. This might be a quick TP back into showers, or a hey, let's just fight them back.
They're going to. They're going to go for this anyway. They know there's so many people here, and Exeter just pops out of their dimensional drift and says, I've been a bit of a passenger princess this game, but it's time to get involved. That's a buy round for NBG, by the way.
Yeah.
He saw 5 players, 4 players, and he
Spike
says,
planted.
"Nah, I'd win."
Literally, that is the incarnation of that meme. Big grin on his face, lines up 3 kills, and I have no idea how Nightblood Gaming was not ready for that when the blue hue was basically glowing around them when they were all in spawn, and they had to expect somebody was still in sight. They already had their initial stall from that wall, and as everybody is shooting it to try to break
Enemy
it,
remaining.
you have to be ready for this Yoru. And that might be the straw to break the camel's back, Yoru, but that might be gain from just that round.
Absolutely. I mean, it's economically absolutely devastating for NBG. I don't know how you're supposed to bounce back from this. Rankers getting into a position when they can almost buy for the rest of the game. And a really clean round in general. Knights doesn't even have that ultimate pop. That could be saved, coming back in for the next one. And it's a singular rifle held by Sogo here. I don't know how NBG was supposed to get used out of the orbital strike. Don't know how that's supposed to work. That kill there is a big result of NBG also playing so far off the sides.
Yeah.
Right at the back.
It feels like they were putting all their eggs in a basket for that GravNet orbital strike. I just felt like plaster around their foreheads saying, hey, come at me, bro. Break that wall. I'm going to net you. We're just going to ult you. And that's probably that time that extra found. There's just not enough bodies that protected Win at that point, or that really anticipate Exeter to be right there. But as you mentioned, the economy is in shambles for Nightblood Gaming. At least they have a decent read to play this judge very close inside the smoke.
Drop in a
Knights
smoke.
queuing up another smoke here. It's going to be Kess alone with the judge. So obviously, you can do a lot with it.
My turn.
Okay, unfortunately, Clove ultimate means the Knights has to run up though now and try and take another fight. And NBG know it. Oh, Knights gets one on Quinn. He's back in the game.
Spike down. B.
I mean, everybody's falling on both angles, of both everywhere around the map, rather. Just too much going on here. Too much ruckus created from that not done yet for the Showers control, and they did have some sort of a stack towards the A side, but all of them really fell into situations and moment and positions where nobody was there for an instant trade. So this should be the round coming through. Even
Enemy
Fireballs
remaining.
misses it. I mean, what can you do at this point?
Oh,
You're
no!
starting to see them being warmed up here, man.
Oh, that is rough. Again, like in terms of economics, a very clean round here for rankers. Oh, I mean, the ISO is the last player you want to take this 1v1 against NBG. They've got to be absolutely fuming at how that round went down. Kess goes 1 for 1, it's fine. I mean, you've got to be mad. You get that big judge kill, but it's against the Clove with ultimate. You get traded out, then the Clove gets a kill to buy back into the round. Oh, buddy. That's worst case scenario.
And when nothing's going right, it's just not going right now for Nightblood Gaming, unfortunately. But here's the moment of truth. We talked about maybe the nail in the coffin from that triple kill, but now they have ults and rifles. If they could cycle a little bit of these ults, it'd be good.
All right, Kane wins that fight out. He would have loved to have pulled the Viper with that ability, but obviously she threw that pit down over towards A short. That's a great way to turn that off. Either way, player advantage now for Rankers. And Kane's looking a little bit uncomfortable now. Set up in his corner. Poppin just drops down and cleans them up. And that was a gun round for NBG. For those that care, that's going to be Fireball sat over at A, looking glum as heck as he sees this game starting to sail off into the sunset.
Ready.
And Exeter's second ult in like 2 rounds. That was insane, because when he came out of that ult before, he already got a triple kill. And then you're continuing the reign of fire that's in the name of ranking against Nightblood Gaming. They just have too good of a name so far. I think Nightblood Gaming has given him too much room to breathe and too much time to warm up. They should have closed it at the very beginning when they were in driver's seat on the first half at 5-0 on the score line, or 5-1, whatever it was. But now you're definitely seeing similar results as it was the last time these two teams faced against each other just a week ago in the group stages leading into this moment. In the upper final, of Challengers Stage 3. And now Rankers are at map point.
Okay. Right. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Match point.
It is full money for Rankers right now. They are 2 cracked Vans. I'm just going to say it. And the money for NBG here to try and stay in this game is pretty terrible. Guardian half armor for Kess and Soga, respectively. Got to try and find a way to get value out of these ultimates here. Annihilation for Fireball Ops might be relevant, but Rankers are absolutely running roughshod over them.
And when I talked about the team for Nightblood Gaming, hopefully they're going to be able to cycle some ults. Yes, they lost everybody in the process without being able to use one. So now this is going to be probably the overload of util. Maybe aggress too much to try to stay alive in this fight. Is actually going to do the same thing again.
Okay, all right. He had me in the first half. I'm not going to lie. Wow. Rank is actually opt out of a full-blown nuclear war here over a B. And instead play off that information to lead the site this time. And my goodness, I'm pretty sure we saw Annihilation just pop there by 5 or lots of B, and nobody nobody was there, Vans. They had pieced out.
Spike planted.
Now Orbital Strike's the next best thing, rather.
Okay, Forces in fire out of that position. He's actually body blocked by the Trailblazer. Okay. Aliv there finds a quick double, and somehow NBG hold on. A pretty weak buy here, but again, Rankers will just continue to pull rifles into these rounds. NBG gotta feel good though after kind of gamble stacking the B site, having to play full retake at A.
Yeah,
but that's the ultimate's gone.
Exactly. That's exactly it, because it was a Hail Mary within that round. I mean, you're facing elimination on the first map. Now you have 3 ults that you haven't had a chance to use in the last 3 rounds that you could have cycled up. So now you just want to make sure you stay alive in the game. So now you're back into almost nothing in terms of ults on your side. You still have 3 rounds to catch up to try to bring this into overtime against rankers, and your economy is also not the best. So the more that the rankers are continuing to fight against you, despite you winning some rounds, your money is going to get chipped down too, where you're not going to have a chance potentially in that last round of this regulation, if it has to come down to that. But I thought I saw an op at the very beginning. I don't know if they purchased at the very beginning and dropped it for a rifle after, but the idea was getting showers quite early here on the side of rankers.
Game of the round. Oh, did Inspire just lurk down B long? Okay, and spot that win there as well. Can't win the fight as the king comes a little bit too late, but oh, Knights is ready to throw down here. Kane gets in and onto the side, and it's up to Quinn and Allen, who are pretty split. Also going to try and go for this here. Beautiful straight tap there from Knights. My goodness, these guys are cracked, bro. Unreal.
Yeah, for those that haven't had a chance to see rankers play or to witness it during that SOAR event, you actually are now bearing witness to what it means to play against this team, play against the rankers, and probably the reason why chat was so excited and also disappointed that they didn't get to see them on the main screen in the past couple of days. But now, thankfully, we get to witness it now and potentially even seeing rankers move to the grand finals.
I mean, it's very likely. Obviously, this is the upper final. One more win gets them there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the maps. I'm not liking what I see for NBG. I'm not gonna lie. 800-pound King Extra about to go nuclear on them. Hey, stick around. This one might be a short one. We'll be back with map number 2 of this series.